Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp Limp, and I'm here with one. I know I'm excited, and I've been talking to you guys about it for a while now. Snapships Tactics has launched on Kickstarter, so this is my quick little preview of it. After this portion of the video where I'm showing the Kickstarter page itself, I'm going to attach a follow-on video where I build some of these ships, show you guys some of the components and how they go together, all that good stuff. Actually, it's the Scarab specifically from this set. So I'll show you guys that, multitudes of ways it can be put together, all that cool stuff. So make sure you stay tuned after this original part if you want to see that. And if you want to see how the saber goes together, make sure to let me know down in the comments. Sorry, I just realized why I looked, dingy and washed out. I forgot to cut on my light. All right. Anyway, they've got the Kickstarter going. They've already met their goal. Knew that was going to happen day one. So no biggie there. We'll go ahead and watch the video like I always do to start things off. And then we'll take and look at some of the pledge levels here.
A deadly war is unfolding between the human-led Forge forces and the complex and alien hive mind determined to wipe out humanity. Our modular construction system lets you build the perfect fighting ship for any situation. With hundreds of individual parts, you have everything you need to create your unique fighter. Each piece provides its own stats and abilities, making your ship fly and fight differently from every other ship. You will meet your enemy on a shifting battleground. Asteroids, gravity rifts, and other hazards can be exploited to your advantage. Powering your components activates their unique abilities. Critical hits damage your opponent's ship and disable important systems. With the right parts and a little bit of luck, you might just survive the day. Snapships Tactics is a foundational tabletop battle system. Add additional ships, each with new components and new capabilities, all interchangeable. Build a squadron of ships and engage in massive fleet battles. Or play solo or co-op against the game's devious AI system. Snapships Tactics, because the best ship is the one you create.
All right, so there's the video. Looks cool, obviously. Definitely excited. We'll take a look real quick at the pledge levels. You can do the without a reward like usual. I think it does the pledge manager. The basic, the starter one, all right, starter box, and then any of the unlock stretch goals type stuff has the 2 ships in it and then the game component. So you got the Scarab and the Saber, and that's it. And then all the play components, tokens and templates and all that other stuff that you'll need. That's 100, just flat out base for that one. And the pledge level I went with, because I wanted the extra ships, it's at twice that price. So it's 200, but it has a lot more ships with it. So this one gives you up to 3 versus 3 battles because you do need some extra stuff. So you get the 2 ships that come in the base game, and then on top of that, the Falx, the Wasp, the Lance, and the Locust. The cards that you need for all of them, and then the stand packs, and then the daily unlocks as well. They've got a retailer pledge, and then also what they call the fleet pledge, which is pretty much everything. So that is everything that came in the 200 level pledge, plus an extra Saber and Scarab, the cards for them, 3 of the stand packs, and 4 of the console packs. So I'll show you what the console packs are. Now, one thing to keep in mind is the 200 one doesn't come with any of the extra console packs. And honestly, that's not something that's truly needed. And I think I'm going to use something else. I found when I played X-Wing that the harder components, the ones that were like mounted, right, that you could put the cards in, all your upgrade cards, most people didn't use those quite as much because they were harder to transport and store. I don't anticipate dragging this out to the store that much though. So I think the harder template for the cards to go into it would be a better use here than it was in X-Wing. But most people actually use like the card sleeves, like you would get for a notebook or something like that. I had a 4x4 one, would fit my pilot card and then the upgrade cards that I wanted to go in there. Probably going to stick with something like that, but we'll see just depending on how this plays out. Let's scroll down, show you guys. This is the starter box. So 2 big ships. And the way to think about this, and especially you guys will see this in the latter part of the video where I'm putting together some of this, is I know a lot of people are going to look at this and go, well, you're only getting 2 ships. Well, you're not really only getting 2 ships. In a way, you're getting 6. Because besides just customizing them to your heart's desire, whatever you want to make, you can take and build them into 3 specific predetermined designs for each one of those. So the Saber has 3, the Scarab has 3 different layout designs. So just in the box itself, the base box, you're going to have the multiple different types that each one of those 2 ships can go in. So that's going to give you a lot of replay there. And then obviously the cards, tokens, the cubes for firing, for heat, keeping track of which players which, targeting. And something that caught my attention is there was missile tokens. And I'm not seeing it here, but I know I saw it. Oh, here we go. Right here, there are missile tokens right there center above the range templates, which makes me think the missiles are going to track on the board like they did in something like Battlefleet Gothic back when that used to be around. God, I wish that Games Workshop would release Battlefleet Gothic, because I would play that one something fierce. I've always wanted to try it, and I never got to try Battlefleet Gothic. All right, neither here nor there. The fact that GW sucks and won't release that, but a lot of preview videos. Make sure you guys check them out. I've done plenty. There's a lot of people excited about this game. This gives you some estimates of the sizes. These are bigger than like X-Wing. All right, so X-Wing, the ships were this. The ships are this. All right, they're big. A wing on this is as big as an X-Wing ship. These things are huge. Now, it is supposed to be played on roughly the same size game mat. All right, so think of this as like X-Wing scaled in. You're zoomed into the battle a little bit, okay? So it's close in, like real stuck in dogfight, not as stretched out as kind of like X-Wing was, where you could have like epic ships on the board. This is really zoomed in on the ships. Again, shows you the different types of ships you can create. And the really, really cool part that I'm looking forward to is the fact that it's got co-op and solitaire missions. You know, easy to operate AI system. I haven't tried it. I've heard good things. Really looking forward to trying this. And that was one of the biggest drawbacks to X-Wing, is they never really went with that. They just focused on tournament and heads up play, and people were dying for that AI and solitaire play or cooperative play. They really wanted to reenact. People homebrewed it. I've watched some of these videos online, homebrewing a Death Star trench run, you know, and it sucks always having to heads up that stuff, having rules so you could actually do that cooperatively, you know, have the Falcon and X-Wings. That would have been awesome. But now we get to do this with ships that we get to customize. I already showed you guys what the different levels are. But again, it's this plus whatever the goals are, which I'm not sure what they are. I'm guessing, just me guessing. I think it's going to be extra Greeble type parts, which are the cosmetic-y ones, don't affect gameplay. They just make the ships look cooler. Maybe some extra part cards, stuff like that. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of ship stuff. I think we're really getting killed in the fact that this game is releasing when shipping's through the roof, inflation's through the roof, everything's getting crushed. It sucks. But it's not really their fault. Now, something I had considered is, since I already have some of these ships, right? I was like, well, maybe I'll just order them online and just buy the cards, because you can buy the cards for the ships separately. You don't have to buy here. It's an add-on for the Kickstarter if you want to do that. If you already have the ships or you buy them on Amazon, you can just buy the cards. And really, once I figured it out with the fact that I'd have to buy the stands and the cards for the ships, it just comes out more cost effective to just buy them this way, get it all together. It'll actually save a little bit. Even getting them cheap on Amazon, it still comes out roughly the same, if not better, getting them here. So I'd probably just back on the Kickstarter. Unless you already have the ships, there's no reason. It's not going to be cost effective for you to buy the ships separately. Just unless you want extra ones, just to have something to play with for now. The fleet one, the big one. All right, so you see here the core box and then the extra 4 ships that don't come in the core box, and then the stuff you need to add those 4 ships, which again, those 4 ships aren't just 4 ships. They're parts 4 ships that you can build in multitudes of different ways. But even still, even if you don't do your own thing, you can still do them in those preset designs, which is multiples of each one of these. All right, really cool stuff and everything they need. Same thing here at the fleet level. What it adds on is an extra saber and scarab, the parts needed for those, and then all of these, which are the bases that you can set those cards on, and it's 2 packs of those. But evidently what's neat about those things is that they can actually be built into the ships too. Some people, God, you guys have got to go on Discord and see this. Some people have built like these ships that are like this. I mean, multitudes of kits, and they've put together like these pillars of autumn type carriers and battleships, just stuff they've come up with their own design. It's really awesome. And that's one of the things I keep trying to stress is this is not Lego, right? This is not cheap little put together stuff. It puts together sturdy, it's strong, right? And how it puts together, so you can actually take and build a large ship out of it if you want to. So a whole bunch of cool stuff. And then retailer pledge, make sure you guys check it out. They do have how to play videos up that they have done explaining all the rules, and there is a tabletop simulator demo. I'm going to be trying that out later. I have not got a chance to right now, just I've been swamped. Sorry, guys. Everything that's going on. But again, we see our templates here showing how the ships move. I finally figured out what the S and the L meant, short and long moves. And then I love this, showing how the parts can be disabled. So you can yank them off, man. Blow off their Gatling guns, blow off a wing, blow off a fin, you know, all that cool stuff. And that can actually be represented in game. Tell me how just friggin' cool that is. Again, you see here, you can download the rulebook. And that inspires confidence. When they're willing to show that rule book right up front, shows they're confident in what they're doing. Again, tabletop simulator, so you can try it out now. And this is showing just all the individual pieces that you're going to get. The saber, all the pieces for it, Scarab. And I really want them to get that hover gunboat thing that I got first time. So I can go ahead and add that to it. They are supposed to be adding other kits later on. So the kits that don't launch with the game, they do plan on tacking those in later. Heavy duty flight stands, which should just plug right into the bottom of these, just like the stands do. So it should hold on perfectly fine. Range rulers, which people will do acrylics of those at some point. And I like this. Ship status tracker dials. That looks cool. Curious exactly how those are going to work. I'm assuming certain amount of armor, hull points, whatever. Custom dice, the cubes, activation tokens, ship ID tokens I mentioned, disable tokens, and then this is, I really like missile tokens. We're wanting to see those screaming across the board, getting ready to take people out, maybe homing in on them, something along those lines. Here, again, closer look at some of the, what they call the elite ships pack. It has the, the Falcons and the Wasp, the parts needed to build those. And that's going to add extra cards, extra weapons, extra engines, extra stuff that you can add into your game. Maybe you like some of the weapons from the Falcons. You want to add it in on your saber. Maybe you want to switch up. You can do whatever. Make it your own game. Wasp here, some cool looking pieces that get added to it. They've got like this alien bug looking design. And the cool part is they're including the little infantry pieces because you can put the pilot in the cockpit. The cockpit does open up. So if you want to have a little pilot sitting in there, you can do that. That is awesome how they have that in there. Scout pack has the 2 smaller ships, the little scout ships that get added to it, which one the human side is the Lance, and the Locust for the I forget what they call the aliens, the bug alien guys, and of course the part cards for that. Reinforcement pack, this just adds in the ships that are already there. And I like how they put the warning here. These are duplicates of the ships in the starter box. So you know that if you buy this, you already have these ships. You don't have to buy these ships, but they're there if you would like to. And this is what I was talking about earlier with the add-ons. If you already have the ships, you collect them already, you get them, whatever. Here you can buy card packs, $10 a piece, and they've got it in doubles. So the Falcons and the Wasps, the Lance and Locust, Saber and Scarab. If you already got these, bam, boom, you're good. And then stand pack that comes with extra cubes, ID tokens, tracker dials, and stands. This is one thing I would have liked maybe to see combined with something, maybe with the card packs. I don't know exactly how to do it, but I think now that I've thought back on this a little bit, I think they're kind of handling it the best way they possibly can, because so many people already have these products that they had to sell the stands separately. They had no other choice. So they just put it as an add-on, buy as many as you want, and then added them into the different pledge levels depending on the number of ships that you got. Thinking back on it, I think that's probably the best way they could have done it. And this is the console pack that I was talking about, the interlocking ones that plug in together. And these things fit to the pieces. You see, it's got the little plugs on there. So if you wanted to plug them into the ships, you can do that. And there was a guy who was talking on Discord that he's planning on doing this. Pegs lets you use these for freeform snapships building as well. I mean, who the hell does that? That's just so cool. I love that aspect of it. You can get playmats if you want to. $55 for a 3x3 playmat. It's roughly right. Neoprene mat. Yeah, if you don't already have one, you should go ahead and get one. It does make it a lot easier. If you play X-Wing, I guarantee you've already got a couple of these. I've got 2 or 3 from my time playing X-Wing. I think I won a couple in a few tournaments. So this is something, thankfully, I'm not going to need to get. Ooh, now this does suck, though. It's a heavy, oversized item, and shipping will be charged separately. So if you get it, make sure you pay attention to that aspect of it. And this is the add-ons, the stretch goals. Not sure what it's going to be. It says, we've made contact with Forge High Command. Every 48 hours during the campaign, we'll unlock a new surprise and add it to your pledge for free. Yay, cool stuff. Looking forward to it. Some of it's going to be exclusive for Kickstarter, and promo is an item that Kickstarter backers get as part of their rewards that may be released in the future. So some you only get here and some you might get later, but it looks like they've got a lot of these planned. So we'll have to see how that pans out. And of course, like always, they've got plenty of videos here down below talking about how they do all this stuff, how to play 1v1 game. I believe this is the Snapship guys themselves, Scott and Josh and the rest of them, doing this. And then they do have some comments from some other people. Watch a lot of One Stop Co-op Shop. He does a lot of good work. So make sure you check him out as well. And our estimated shipping cost, God, I hope I'm good. Zone 1. Yay, USA Zone 1. 22 shipping. It's actually not too bad. The way things are nowadays. Yeah, that's decent. Zone 5. Who's in Zone 5? Rest of the world. Australia, Zone 4. Ooh, $80. Sorry, guys. Australia. Where the hell is it more expensive to ship than Australia? You guys are on the ass crack of the world. You're way the hell out there. Not that I'm hating on you. I like Australia and all that, but you guys are way out there. Shipping's always horrible to get to you guys. And then the add-on for the playmat, roughly 15, 20 or so, depending on where you guys are at. And then VAT taxes, depending on where you at. California residents will need to pay sales tax. Sorry, Cali. So it looks like they're anticipating releasing this in about a year. This is going to suck. That's going to suck. I don't want to wait a year. I'm going to be playing a lot on Tabletop Simulator probably. Yeah, definitely awesome game. Looks cooler and shit. The ships are awesome just in and of themselves. definitely worth checking out. They're going to blow out this. I mean, within day one, they've already well surpassed their goal. I don't see this having any problem. They're a good group of guys. They've been working hard on this, very much a passion project that they have poured blood, sweat, and tears into for years. This is absolutely one you want to check out if you are into spaceships, if you are into stuff like X-Wing, if you're into miniatures, and you like customization. Don't let this one pass you by. It is awesome. All right, but stay tuned. Like I said, I'm going to have some building going on right after this portion of the video. You guys can see how the Scarab goes together. All right, y'all take care. And I got to say, yeah, I talked about this game a lot. Sorry, I'm very excited about it. It's really captivated my attention. So I'm going to talk it up. It is what it is. I got in a couple other ships, right? And these things are like on sale right now on Amazon. Definitely, you got to jump on them. And one of the things that I looked up and I've been talking to him about on Discord was the fact that these ships and these parts and stuff, they can be used in the tabletop game when it releases. So if you've already got them, you're good. Now, like the box set's going to come with these two basic ships. Okay, so the ones we're looking at here, we've got the Saber and we've got the Scarab. And there are other ships that are going to be included as well. Not like in the box set. But what I'm saying is that from what I've discovered on their Kickstarter, they're going to have it to where you can have like add-ons, stretch goals, stuff like that. And I believe the other ships are going to be add-ons, but they might have some of the stretch goals. I'm crossing my fingers on that one. But if you've already got the ships, so there's one called like the Falx, there's a Lance, there's some others, I'll list them down on screen, but there's other ships that you can buy right now that are going to be in the game as like add-ons. So you can either add on the ship and you'll get the ship and the parts and the cards and everything. But if you've already got it, then you can just add the cards themselves. That's what I really like about this. That was a good move on their part, was the fact that if you already have the products that you need, so you've already been collecting these things for a while and you have it, you're not going to have to buy it again with the Kickstarter. You just get the card pack and bam, you're good. You can play that ship directly into the game. So very excited about that. Glad they're doing that. But I did want to show you guys a little bit more of what I was talking about being able to build these things in like multiple different ways. And I've got some images of the chassis cards I'll throw on screen for you and show what I'm talking about. Now let's take a look first at Mr. Scarab, because we've talked a lot about the Saber and some of the others. I wanted to show some of the kind of like alien faction, what their stuff looks like. So this one is the Scarab, okay? And it can have this interceptor build, this light fighter build, or this attack striker build down here, okay? But in the little pamphlet here, it shows you how to build all three. But all of these parts aren't specific to that. When I was talking to him about it, I found out that the greebles that I had mentioned before, that's the decorative stuff, okay? So not like missiles, guns, engines, cockpits, the main pieces. The greebles are the just colorful pieces, the flat pieces. They're all decorative to help you kind of spice your ship up a little bit. None of them have to be put onto it to make the ship functional. But I wanted to build one of these real quick and show you guys, you know, again, just how easy. I've showed one of the other ones, but it was a big one, that big rotary gunship thing. It was huge. I did that and fast forward in the first video I did on this. But these are a little bit easier. They're a little bit smaller. Oh, and they got this cool thing, and I'm hoping this gets included in here. There's always like this mystery gun alien thing. I think they call this Uru Tech or Guru Tech. I forget what it is, but something like that. It's this cool little piece that has like orangey neon glow looking stuff. We'll pop that open in a sec. And you guys can see there's a little pilot right there, little alien fella right in there ready to go. But the main parts, you can see here, wings, cockpit, and then the engines are in this bag. We'll pull those out here in just a sec. But that's it for the chassis, right? That's the stuff that you have to add. And then the other stuff is the stuff you get to pick from that you get to choose to add. So I am curious though how much customization you really are going to get with that, because I understand you have to have certain things. You got to have a cockpit, right? You got to have engines. Unfortunately, you can't do nothing but guns, but you got to have those few basic elements. But those others, the ones that you can pick, you know, anything you want to put on there, can you, if you've got extra parts and pieces and stuff, can you double up on guns, triple up on missiles? Can you know, how much of that customization is going to come into play? I'm really looking forward to seeing how that's going to work. Ooh, and here it is. This is what I was talking about. It's Uju Tech, UJU. And this is a little picture showing what's in there. So that's cooler than hell. I like that little thing. It even talks about what they have. The interceptor here, 6-barrel Gatling gun, twin-barrel pulse laser, swing wing that can slice through ROK. All right, if you have not played with one of these things before, there's a piece, looks like this little doohickey here, kind of like a flathead screwdriver. You want to hold on to this because, like I was saying previously, these things aren't just like Legos, right? They don't pull apart that easily. You're not going to just wrench them apart. That's what this piece is for, to slide in there and, you know, pop the little cubes loose and stuff like that to make it easier when you're using this. So make sure you hold on to a couple of these. If you've got one or two of the ships, each one of them come with them. So you'll have plenty of these things lying around. And I'm assuming you use a screwdriver if you need to, but screwdriver's metal. This is plastic. It's not going to tear it out. And it shows you right here, that's how that's going to work. And to not throw away the top of the box because it's a display, and I love that because it means I can just stack all the ships up on a shelf and now they're going to look cooler than hell. But you notice here when we're putting it together, and sorry, these come folded over, so I'm having to kind of flick it out so it's easier to see. The instruction manual shows you very easily, step by step, how you're going to put together exactly what parts you're going to use and how you're going to orient these. Because remember, these little cubes are specific. Okay, so they have one side, you can see there, that has a little plug on it, and the rest have sections that you plug into. And this is the key part, if I'm getting enough light in there so you guys can see that little star shape in there with a round plug on how these plug in, that little design there. So when it goes in, it stays in and it's not going to rotate or twist around. But this shows us exactly how we're going to start this up. So I'm going to grab a few pieces. So yeah, stuff like this is what they call a greeble. You guys are seeing that. It's just a little decorative armor plate looking piece, stuff like that. All right, so we'll take and start with one pointing down. It goes into a smaller piece. I'll plug that in. And you guys can hear it just snaps together quite nicely. The next piece has to be oriented to the right. And it looks like this next one plugs in. Sure, going in. Yep. And the last one plugs straight in as well. All right, so ultimately we're left with this. And it's pointing out in a single direction there. Orient it to the light so you guys can see. And we'll flip to our next page, see what we're going to add in. Now these instructions instruct you on where to place those greebles as we go along. But again, those are going to be optional for the game itself. All right, so our next step is complete like that. And there's one of these that's special because it doesn't have a plug on the end of it like the rest of them do. And it even annotates that in the instruction manual very nicely to let you know, hey, you need a specific plug. All right, next pieces we've added were some greebles here to the back, a couple little armor plates to the front, nothing too difficult. And looks like next up we need, it appears to be the cockpit. If I am correct here. Is the cockpit, and you can tell because that little screwball opens up so you can put your little pilot in there if you want to. All right, so got the cockpit. Cockpit looks like it's going right here in the front. So let's jam that little boy on there. All right, so we're getting there. We're coming together quite nicely. Sorry if this one's a little harder to see. It's dark and I've got black in the background, so I didn't pick the best one color-wise. I apologize. I love these wings. Look at these things. They look like blades, man. Look at that. Little knives on these. I love that. So again, stuff like this, when we're looking at the chassis cards, this is going to be like the non-optional stuff, your cockpit, your main wing, your main engine, engines, whichever. But I believe stuff like this, like your extra fins, different types of guns that you're putting on there. If you're putting the mini guns on there, those are going to be where you're getting your optional stuff. Okay, this looks cool. All right, so there's a little hinge right here, and we take our slicey wingy, and we pop it in there. It snugs in quite nicely, actually, and snicks in just like that. And that's how we're going to attach some wings to our ship here. And I believe these are oriented forward. Yep. Okay, cool looking. Look at that. It's already starting to come together. Look at that. That's gorgeous, man. I freaking love it. Freaking love it. Okay, next up we got some greebles, making it look all spicy. This one going to go here on the top, facing back, clicks right in just like so. And then we've got a few decorative pieces here that are gonna go front and back. Let me make sure I'm orienting this in the right way. All right, this one, I need the bigger one, going right here. And I love how these things click in. The way it's designed with the round peg and that little square piece, you know you're getting it in just right. Love that. All right, these pieces go just like this. Look at that coming together. Looks sweet. All right, and now it is our rotary weapons. We've got our mini guns going on the front of this thing. So pop this on here. This one goes here. And these click right onto the front. Ah. Helps if I actually push it in. I'm rushing it. I'm so excited how I get these on. All right, you push in, boom, just like that. Look at that, man. Mini guns, I love it. I freaking love it. I can't wait till this is on the table, dude. All right, we've got our engine pieces. I was wondering which ones these are. These are smaller. You guys can see that little bit of purple in there, right there in the back of that. Look at that. These are actually smaller than the ones that go on the Saber, but I think this one is slower because it actually shows the stats on the box. Yeah, this one has a 4-speed. I think the Saber's got a 5-speed, but this one's more maneuverable. The Saber's only a 4 and this one's a 5. This one has less armor though, only a 2. I think the Saber's a 3, but the weapons are better on this. So little differences, but of course it is going to depend on how you gear it out. And again, these are a couple of more of what I think the optional pieces are going to be. When we start talking about these ships, these are like extra fins that you can put on, but I'll put them on according to the build for this interceptor. And I believe they're going on here on the back, like so. Giving it kind of like this razor alien look. Let you guys see that. So the fins are down there on the bottom. Big old wings. I mean, these things are huge compared to like X-Wing fighters, but they're so freaking cool. Like the game X-Wing is what I'm talking about. Oh, cool. Got more weapons. I think these things are like those pulse lasers. That's what it was called. A couple of double barrel ones of these that go onto the bottom here. Does that rotate? Yeah. These are designed to rotate so they can spin around. See how it turns? Love that. And I should have another one. Yep, goes right here. And it's going to go on this side. Push that in. There we go. So we got extra lasers, a couple of mini guns. Remember, the Saber's got like laser cannons and I think missiles. Okay, this is interesting. It's making some type of, oh, cool X-looking thing at the back. All right, I got to figure out exactly how this is going to go because it's a little different. We've got a bunch more of these tiny little hinges that have these wings slot into them. I want to make sure I do this just right so it looks good. All right, see, kind of like how that goes on. So now we're going to have one like that, and one like this. Don't drop off on me. right, so match those up, and now we've got, again, a couple more smaller ones, and they're gonna make some type of X pattern at the back of this thing. So I gotta figure out exactly how this is gonna go. Is this one like this? Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right, and again, it shows you, it makes it so easy putting this together. Boom, just like that, shows you a little X you gotta make, just like so. And then we're going to tilt all of this forward, and this goes on the back of this doohickey. Sorry if I'm bumping the camera. So he goes on, how does he go on? Like this? Yeah. It says in the diamond formation. Yeah. So it's gonna go on like that. I think I gotta spin those around so they turn a little bit farther, but I'll adjust that later. Gives us a nice little wing segment there at the back with the little engines. I like that. All right, and we've got one more little thruster there at the back. Goes right there. So extra little wings. So that's what the back of it's looking like now. Got 3 sets of thrusters going across. And I believe we are set. Oh, and the wings. Oh, yeah, look at that. The wings can sweep. It shows that you can pivot them back if you want to, or keep them swept forward. I like the look of this thing with it swept forward. Now, there are a couple of extra little toy-like pieces because they have the little red pegs here, and these are the type of shooters like you would see in a G.I. Joe toy where you can push the button and it shoots the little peg out, right? I'm not gonna worry about putting those on because I don't want it for toy purposes. Okay, who am I lying to? I do want it for toy purposes. And again, the cool part is you can use the lid that the box comes in as a display piece. So you can set them up right there on your shelf, just like that. Doesn't that look cooler than freaking hell? This is gonna be on the table with instead of this part hooking underneath it, it's a base like you would have, a little round base with angles, 45 degree, 180 degree, that type of stuff, just like you would see in something like X-Wing. And you'll be able to just move it across the table and do all the stuff just like you're doing here. But you can pick and choose. Do you want this weapon? Do you want that weapon? Do you want those extra fins for the maneuvers? Do you want to put, heat sinks, or do you want to put extra engines maybe? I know what I'm going for, all guns. I really like the Scarab look on this thing. The fact that the wings themselves are like blades. I am hoping you get a ramming or cutting bonus, something like that. Something where these guys can come screaming in and chop right through them. Okay, yeah, I'm going to be playing with this, but we're not going to tell anybody about that. I might just be doing it in the privacy of my office when nobody's looking. But yeah, this is the Scarab. This, again, is just one of the ways that you can build this thing, right? The only other little pieces I got, nothing to worry about. All right, it shows me the adjustment. Yeah, I do have to spin these back pieces around so I can lay these down further. All right, so that's how those are supposed to be, so they can flare out if you want to flare them out. I had it turned around the backwards direction, but you can do it like this. Swing them, pivot them around, make the ship look a little longer, a little cooler. But that looks awesome. So again, that was the Interceptor. All right, and we'll scroll through this here, show you guys some of the other stuff. And it shows you those. Those are the shooters, kind of like the G.I. Joe toy stuff. All right, so same ship, same parts, same stuff that we have now. And this is the light fighter. And you can see how it's using all those same parts. It's got the fins, it's got the engines, but it's built differently, and it's going to have different stats than that Interceptor did. And it's the same here with this Attack Striker. same parts, same stuff, but you see how it's built differently. The wings are configured different, engines are configured different, weapons are changed, things are moved around. So that's how the stats are going to change for these individual ships. And you saw on those chassis cards that they'll have different passive abilities depending on which type of ship that you're using. That's what I really like in this, right? That I'm so excited about is the fact that in a game where, let's say, because I'm not sure yet, again, what's going to come in the base box, but let's assume it's just the parts for this ship and the Saber. All right, that's it. With those 2 ships, they've effectively given you 6 ships. All right, you kind of get what I'm saying there? Because the Scarab can be configured into an interceptor, light fighter, or attack striker. And then again, you got the same thing with the Saber here. It can just be a Saber regular fighter or a light bomber or a fast recon. And now that I have both of these, I can do a double since I'll have, you know, one of each already since I've got these ships and then the ones that actually come in the game itself. But again, it's not just these 2 that are available now. And again, they haven't sent me anything. They haven't offered me anything. This is just me excited about the game. All right. But the ones that are available now, I know for a fact, and will be part of the game is the Saber and the Scarab, the Wasp, the Falx, which is Falx, the Lance, and the Locust. Right. So all of those are available. You can get those if you want to go ahead and like start building your collection. And with the exception of these 2, when it comes to the others like the Wasp, Falx, Lance, Locust, if you already have those ships and you don't want extra copies of those ships, you can just get the cards. So you'll be able to get the chassis cards, the part cards, stuff like that, that you can use in the game if you've already got the ship itself. That way you don't have to have an extra copy of it if you don't want it. All right, and just to show you guys, because this thing is cool, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out, let you guys see this big honking piece that comes out. Pop out, come on. All right, and this is that Uru, whatever you want to call it, tech. And it's basically big toy pieces here that have those color pieces on it. They click in the exact same way though, so that could get mounted on the top or bottom, wherever you want to put it. As far as the ship goes, I did ask them what they're planning on doing with these pieces. That hasn't been decided as of yet. I don't know if they're going to be included in the game itself, if it's going to be like some secret bonus weapon, or if they're just going to be ignored for now, added in later, maybe as an expansion. We'll just have to see, right? My guess is some type of high-end one-off, maybe, you know, huge blast or something that has a detrimental effect if you use it, or some risk to yourself since it's, you know, experimental tech, something along those lines. The only problem with having something like this, though, in the game is if that's attached to my ship and I'm flying at someone else, I'm definitely going to want to, you know, do that. I would so be pushing that button and shooting these little pieces out at the other people at the table. That would be happening a lot. All right. But I'm going to go ahead and pause this one here. I wanted to show you guys one of the ships, something else you guys can do with it. And again, the multiple different ways that you can build this. It is just so cool how they can be used in so many different ways. I really like that this ship is like 3 ships, right? If you're interested and you want to see a build of the Saber, let me know. Let me know which one of the Saber versions you would prefer. And if you do want to see that, I'll go ahead and build it. Again, those 3 options would be the Saber itself, the light bomber, or the fast recon. I kind of like the look of that light bomber. That looks like it would be a fun one to have on the table. But anyway, by the time this video is up, we should be looking at maybe roughly a week, somewhere around there, before this is hitting Kickstarter. So definitely keep your eyes open. Go over to their page. I'll put it down on the link so you guys can see that. And check it out yourselves. Definitely one to keep an eye on. A lot of people are excited for this, and I want to see these guys do well because it's a small group, passion project, something they've been working on for years. They prototyped the hell out of this. I actually watched a video they put up where they were talking about how they originally made the toys, and I think they said their original thought was to make a game, but they kind of did the toys themselves. and I think they took it to Hasbro or somebody. They were showing like how the pieces connect and operate and stuff like that. They were shot down at the first place they went, so they, kept trying. They didn't let it, knock them down. They kept doing it, kept striving until they succeeded. And I don't, what toy company's going to turn this down? Cool toys you put together that aren't shit ass like, well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Legos. I grew up with Legos. But this doesn't worry me. I have never stepped on a snapship and and wished I died. But who hasn't stepped on a Lego and just thought your leg exploded? You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about that with this crap. And plus the fact that it sits lovely right there on the shelf, on the table, looks cooler in hell. Oh, and snapship people, if you guys see this one, put my damn gunship, the one from my first video, put it in the game. I want to be able to fly that one around because it's freaking huge. I would love to have that one on the table. All right, that's it for me. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next one.